You are an embodied reflection of Source. You are thus infinitely empowered, abundant, and a co-creator with your context always. You are an alchemist. Divination works because the web of life is intelligently organized with coordinated and storied agency. Let's take a look at the stories playing out now. Hi everyone. Let's take a look at the Sabian Symbol imbued at the 12-degree Cancer new moon. The energies of this symbol are going to be influencing the energies for this entire 28-day cycle. The symbol is a hand with a prominent thumb held out for steady. This is referring to the energies of determination, analyzation, and I think discernment over the course of this period. There is going to be a determination and a confidence. There's going to be maybe an educative role in the discernment that is taking place. There's a lot of information online. There's a lot of information in the field. It is overwhelming. It is flooding us. This is a month, as have previous months been, but this looks like a very highlighted month to practice our discernment. Hi everyone. Welcome to July 2016. So I'm doing this a little bit differently this month. First of all, I wanted to be on camera a little bit more this month, back like I used to be. The other is it's here outside and it's a beautiful day. Sunday morning, Father's Day actually. So we're imbuing the energies a little bit with maybe an honoring of the divine masculine. Who knows? Maybe that was the reason why this wanted to happen. So I also wanted to thank everybody on camera to all the well wishes that I received. I'm certainly not alone. There's a lot of people whose body systems are activated by the energy shifts going on, and really the cellular and genetic shifts and changes and alterations that are activated within all of us right now. So indeed, shadows are coming up, karmic patterns coming up. It's been that way for many, many months now. And the bodies are feeling great fatigue and other things happening as a result of these shifts and changes that are just part of the natural evolutionary maturation process for humanity, for the collective. We're literally going from toddlerhood, really more adolescence, but in a way it almost feels like toddlers to teenagers. And I think for some people it's like that, but I think for the vast majority of the collective, it is a bit like we're adolescents, entitled, and we're ready to mature. At least life is ready for us to mature. We need to mature because it's done its run. The adolescent state of humanity has run its course, and now we are maturing, and that's part of the difficulty and the challenges, energetic and otherwise, with regards to the unfolding, the pressure to step up. And I've said that actually for a long time since I've started these scopes, but it really is the truth, and it is becoming exponential. And this year, it really is the year of freedom and alignment. I've said that forever. People are calling it different things, but ultimately this is a time of becoming freed from karmic patterns, not just for our life stream, but for all of our life streams, and not just for us, like our particular soul's journey and its combination as it relates to these other life streams that we're part of and participating in, but the collective. That's the pressure that so many of us know is at hand. That's the pressure that we feel because we get the bigger story of what is unfolding. So us healing self is inherently, as it always does, heals other. As within, so without. As above, so below. So when we shift, it shifts. When we shift, our perception shifts, and everything that we perceive thus shifts. That's just the way it works. That's the way consciousness works. So, yeah, but there's other things at play. There's a lot at play. The energies that are shifting and changing, raising, the frequency is raising, and thus things are becoming more and more transparent. So the solidity that was holding in heavier frequencies can't be hidden anymore. Thus, all the 12th house, past life, parallel life stuff coming up to the fore, right? So I won't go too much more into that. There'll be more coming from me, much more. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my cards because this month I'm going to do art and cards. We're going to do a little Andy Goldsworthy, working with nature, with at least with some Himalayan sea salts and some pebbles. Maybe some crystals too. We'll see what I have, but I'm going to gather a collection, so we do essentially a little bas relief of each sign, and we're going to use imagery. Again, we're all channels. We're all channels. So I encourage all of you to channel writing, art, drawing, whatever it is. But the fact is, we're always channeling, always, every day. So when we can tap in and we can make that connection, then when you put that charcoal on the art paper, or if you are working with natural elements, you know, even with geomancy, throwing sticks or bones or stones, which is not what I'm going to be doing for this cycle, but something similar. So I'm just going to be using natural elements and molding them in a drawing, essentially. So it's the same as using pencil on paper. So I'm excited to do that because I've, again, just like the previous month, I don't know how it's going to go, and I'm excited to see. But now I have my Carolyn Mace archetype cards, and so what I'm going to do, what's a little bit differently this month, is I am going to pull essentially the maturation. So what is it that's asking to be grown and attended to in your life during this month? First, I'm going to pull it first, and then we're going to see what comes. You know, what comes? What is it that wants to be X, Y, or Z? Whatever this card comes for you, and we'll pull the art and we'll pull the cards and we'll just see what the rest of the message is. Okay, so let's take a look. Sagittarius. Okay, so let's take a look at what is the growth edge for you this month. What is going to be activated in you to grow and evolve and mature? What aspect of self is asking to be attended to during this July 2016 Cancer new moon cycle? So Sagittarius. Sag. I have to tell you now, this is the third time that the Liberator card is coming up, and we'll take a look at it. So let's move on to your reading segment, where we'll pull the art and the cards, and I'll talk about this archetype that's coming up for you. Sagittarius, welcome. So let me tell you what we're doing here. I'm using my Siri deck, and I'm going to finish shuffling for you, and then I'm going to cut the deck and set it aside, and I'm not going to lay it out. And then we're going to pull stones, these pebbles, and the Himalayan sea salt, and maybe crystals if they also want to come. And we're going to channel forms and see what image comes. And then we're going to pull the spread and we're going to read all of it. So what we're doing, by the way, this has been fantastic, doing these channeled relief drawings using these natural elements. Just phenomenal. It's been effortless and smooth. Really, really so much. I mean, very similar to the drawings I did a couple of months ago. Effortless and smooth. It's great. So, what did I want to say to you? Oh, so if you're new to the channel, what we're doing is we're tapping into the Sagittarius demographic and seeing, we're tapping into your particular evolutionary unfolding, your demographics evolutionary unfolding. And we're saying what event, circumstance, or situation is likely to come forward for the majority of Sagittarius centric scope people. So Sag, let's see what's coming up. What event, circumstance, or situation is likely to come forward for the majority of Sagittarius centric scope people. Yours came quickly. Some of them have taken quite a while to come forward. So that's cut and that's ready to pull. Let's go ahead. Let's see what wants to come for Sag. A little bit of stuff in there. So for those unaware, my background involves art. So that's why the art kind of wanted, it was time for the art to kind of reemerge. I go through chapters in my life where it flows and then it kind of shuts off, and it flows in different ways. So the last many years, since 2011 and the establishment of my work, my website, The Alchemy of Holism, and the creative ventures that come with that, it's been creativity in a different way. But I have a degree in art. This, though, is new. I've not done the natural element work per se. I've done collages that involve natural elements, but nothing like this. These channeled pieces are definitely different. They've been just a blast. Art and psychology and holistic science. So it's a unique blend, but that's why this work is so cool, though, because it does incorporate all three. Perfect blend of my Soul Prince work. So it's beautiful. So what is your distinct work in the world? What is your unique recipe? Sag. Okay, Sag. So that feels complete. And I don't know yet. So let's pull the reading. Let's pull the spread. And then we'll read it all together. Deception. Deception card came up in this exact position for another sign. So that is definitely something that is playing out. Sadness also did. So did eliminate in the exact same position. In the exact same position, Sag. So different, but the same. We'll see what the pieces, the elements that are coming forward. When I post this video, I'll go ahead and put on the video screen which sign it was. I can't remember which it was. Interesting. Okay. So let's take a look. There's definitely some lessons that you're going through. It has to do with illusion and deception. It has to do with maybe thinking that you've gone off path. So let's take a look, because again, this came up in the exact same position for another sign. So deception. The deception card in the spiritual sector is referring to illusion, and it's referring to self-deception or self-delusion, and or what you're assessing from outside. So illusion of the illusory nature of reality, which is so activated right now. And you, of course, have Saturn going through your sign, which is honing, disciplining us, maturing us in our belief systems. And it's square Neptune, which is dissolving belief systems. So a lot of the foundations that we have, that we've had in the past with regards to literal reality, is transmutating completely. But this also, a huge step in the human evolutionary story, is getting real with who we are, what we believe, aligning thought and action, admitting it, self-accountability, self-responsibility. This has to do with illusion and delusion with regards to the self. You know, how am I unclear? And how am I internally unclear? So this is a big one. Really big one, actually. So you are going through a thematic storyline in the month for this Cancer new moon that's taking place for the majority of the month of July 2016. You're attending to the topic of delusion. Let's take a look at the emotional sector, actually. So you might be thinking about actually going into memories about a choice that maybe you had at some point in your life that was playful, that had to do with joy, fun, play. But maybe you didn't take that path. You didn't go down that path. So you're remembering a choice that was playful for you, that maybe felt joyful and playful and delightful and delicious. But now, over the course of this cycle, you might be thinking, you know, that maybe would have been a better feeling path to take. And you're thinking about the path that was eliminated. It might be, in fact, I know it will be for a lot of people in the upcoming months and years. Certainly, I would say the upcoming months for the majority, but years for some, that there is a level of deception and delusion with regards to having the idea of having to work for a living, to having to work to live. If you think deeply about that topic, there's lots of other realities there. So it might be that you are wanting more play, Sag, in your life. And perhaps there is more joy that you made a choice not to pursue. Maybe you're pursuing a career, and maybe now it's not feeding you. But that's okay, because this is the collective story of humanity's evolution. So not only for you now, but all of us, we've all had to go through periods of buying into the collective delusion and doing, you know, kind of what the norm was. But now you're breaking, and by the way, again, with Saturn going through your sign, that's not unusual. Now, interestingly, at the foundation of the reading, you're going to be feeling defensive, and you're going to be feeling defensive about, oh my God, did I take a wrong path? What's true? You know, I want more play. And you're remembering when you could have taken a path that was more playful. It might have to do with your balance, not just health like your physical health, but balance in your life. Work, play, balance, for example. Not driving 2 hours to an office, 9 to 5, driving 2 hours home kind of thing, which certainly here in the Bay Area is very typical for a lot of people. It's insane. It's insanity. And so it could be that on a very general scale, you're getting how insane that is, you know? And so it could be that there's a balance at play, and you're feeling defensive against maybe the imbalance that's playing out in your life. Now, in the mental sector, Sag, you're definitely picking up on lessons that you're going through or have been going through. And I have to say, now, this is sadness about woman. I have to tell you, I think this is not just about, I mean, the majority of my viewers are women, but many men watch as well. I really do feel that for the majority of you watching, this actually does have to do with the feminine. It has to do with not women per se, or you as woman per se, but it has to do with the collective dishonoring of your voice. Now again, the majority of my viewers, 80%, are women. So women are rising in a new and different way, more authentic way. It is emerging radically. You have grief around it. You have grief around how you've been imprisoned or limited. How you have let yourself believe in the lies about your own limits, about your own inabilities, about you minimizing yourself in order to fit in to the collective storyline. And guess what? You're getting it. So in July, a lot of you are going to be waking the heck up to how you've self-deluded and minimized yourself. And you're feeling grief about it. You're thinking about, wow, I've created a lot of sadness for myself. I've been living in sadness. And it was unnecessary. It was what it was. And I can change it now. I mean, the empowerment card isn't coming up here. So it might be that this month, not everybody is going to actually access the rooted wisdom of their own power. However, I do feel that a lot of you are going to be feeling that deception has been at play in your life about what is your right path. By the way, I can help you with that. Check out my website. Link is below. You're going to feel defensive about the balance, the imbalance perhaps that's been activated between how you stand in yourself, how you stand in your voice. It's like you're putting on a mask to fit a role that doesn't fit you, and you're sad about it. You're defensive about it. You're pissed about it. A lot of women are getting really pissed. It's like they're angry at the status quo. It is busting up too, left and right. So now I really do feel we've totally passed the tipping point, and there's going to be a major uprising, much more so than the last 5 years. It's huge now. The upwelling is massive. So for the men watching, you also house the feminine. And you indeed are affected by the minimization of the feminine. And if you hold Black Moon Lilith at a particular area in your chart that's a very severe wounding point, because it is a wounding point no matter where you hold it, but depending on where you hold it, that's going to regulate how you relate to yourself, your own inner feminine, and how you relate to the women in your life and in your world, how you perceive women. So this is a big storyline. Let's look at this. So this form, I think you can see it all, yeah. This form, I mean, it's almost like you're going to be going back and forth. That's what I get. So there's going to be this evolution. You're going to get some clarity. You're going to go into maybe bitterness, resentment, anger, defensiveness. Come back to some enlightenment. So throughout the month, Sag, I do get that there's going to be a little bit of in and out with how you are thinking about, feeling about the topic of, what needs to happen for you to access your right path, your optimal soul prince path. All right. So again, check my link below. I have many products, packages, and services, support services, to connect you with your soul stories. So I invite you to check that out. Now, so there's going to be an in and out, but I have to say at the top here, and you're the first sign to get this. This is a piece of raw citrine, and it's a beautiful piece. The citrine represents success, optimism, abundance, flow. There's a happiness and a sunniness to this particular stone. And what I like about it is for you, it kind of ended up at this pinnacle point. So even though you have this, let's say, back and forth that's unfolding as you're navigating, because we still really are dealing with this mutable grand cross with Mercury, over in Gemini, opposed your Saturn that you have in your sign. So you are being mutated, right? But what I love is in your back and forth, in your navigation process of this maturation that's unfolding for you, you have at this kind of pinnacle point up at the top, kind of, let's say, energizing the whole process, you do have citrine. So there is a sunniness, a brightness, an abundance, a happiness, a freedom, a success that is kind of keyed in, feeding this particular process for you. And look at this too. So over the course of this back and forth, look what happened here. So this wanted to pinch out, and it became the pink Himalayan sea salt. And I have to tell you, this heart, which is a rose quartz, was the first piece that I actually selected out of the bowl, but it wasn't ready to be placed yet. So there is love. Rose quartz is in fact love. And there is love that seems to spiral out, come about, emerge from this back and forth. As you, again, navigate, you owning the fact that there's been sadness and grief. You have some doubt around your path. By the way, your path is never wrong. You never do it wrong. You've chosen a certain path because your higher self, your soul, needed to experience the off path, whatever it is that you've chosen to do. It needed, for whatever reason, to experience that. So it's very important that you get that, because then you can breathe. Then you can understand that all is okay. But for you, there is the back and forth, but it leads to some love. And that could easily be agape love, a feeling of love and support and honoring maybe for yourself. There's amethyst down here. There's 6 pieces here of amethyst down at the bottom. And of course, see, this is the thing. So you have the spiral of pink Himalayan sea salt with the heart, rose quartz heart, something spirals off. There's some loving energy that emerges. And then it's counterbalanced with this circle of warmth, love, joy. So there's this kind of balanced activation. One is hollow with a heart in it, one is solid. So there's like almost like a yin-yang energy set that's playing out here, everyone. And then with these 6 pieces of amethyst, it's very interesting. I mean, 6 is the white brotherhood, you know, 6 is protection. 6 is also family. So it could be that maybe through this process, there is maybe some stability that comes about for some of you. I don't know what else to say about the amethyst. If there is, I'll type it in on this box. But it's almost like you're held. That's what I want to say about the amethyst. It's like you're held. And amethyst is, of course, lavender, purple, third eye, or excuse me, 7th chakra. So you do have this kind of 7th chakra, the white brotherhood protection that's at the base of your process. So you have the sun at the top highlighting it for you, enlightening it for you, providing some optimism for you, and then you're held at the base with the white brotherhood. Spirit, your guides, etc., your higher self, etc. So dear Sag, so you received Liberator. Now the other signs that received Liberator are, let me just take a look, Virgo and Aries. So if you're a Sagittarius who also has Virgo and Aries strong in their chart, you definitely want to pay heed to this card. This is key to, because this came up 3 times for the signs over the course of this cycle, this is saying this is a definitive theme of growth that's called to happen for you, for many people now. So Liberator is wanting you to evolve the shadow attributes, which are imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. Now, what I'll say is imposing your own tyranny can also be to yourself. Imposing your tyranny to yourself. It becomes internal. What wants to be evolved is freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Sagittarius, this is the key for many people now. But for you in July, during this Cancer new moon cycle of the Sagittarius evolutionary process, this is what's called. This is needing to be matured. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on now to the Dakini and see what's coming up for you there. Hi everyone. Your I Ching micro story, a general energetic theme that's playing out for your particular sign, is listed on the card that you're reading now, as is your optimal goddess embodiment, the Dakini embodiment. Who are you to become to ride this June wave optimally? In order to save time this month, I'm just recording this once. And if you'd like, for those interested, because not everybody is, you are free to visit my website and go to the online library where you can find the information for both your I Ching and your Dakini. Okay, everyone. So that completes the alchemy scopes for this cycle, July 2016, our Cancer new moon cycle, which now the new moons are really aligning predominantly with the month, which is fantastic. So it's going to be a bit easier and more aligned for people to understand, you know, how these are running. But for any of you out there that are desiring one-on-one guidance, my website is below. There's a list of services. For those of you interested in understanding your soul's narratives, the storylines that live within, the storylines that were encoded within you to be healed, matured, and evolved, you as an aspect of consciousness. I have a package called the Who Am I package, and it involves the receipt of 2 different profiles, a video explaining the profiles, and a personal 90-minute one-on-one session with me. And I'm going to link that somewhere on the video and or below the video. So I invite, this really is a time for those of you interested in getting to know yourselves at a very deep, authentic level, but that is connected to the deeper realities of the strata of living systems, which is the storied, archetypal, symbolic realm. I invite you to reach out. And I also have one-on-one sessions. So for those of you interested in your own personal alchemy scope, I offer those. There's a list of services and products. So I want to thank you again so much for those of you that sent me well wishes during the last couple months. It's been meaningful, and I really appreciate it. And I so see and honor the processes happening within each of you as well. So we're all riding the wave, and we're all working through our processes. And it really is a hero's journey. There's just nothing else to say about it. This is a hero's journey. So you're doing a fabulous job. Let July and let the rest of this summer have the remnants of this mutable Grand Cross activations and the Grand Earth Trine. Let it mutate you so that it allows you to free your mind, free the resistance, so that you can go with the flow. Going with the flow is the answer. But also being discerning and also owning your power. So there's like 3 various components to this process as we remember and remind this state of our wholeness, our whole soul, where we're going, who we are, and what we're here to do. It's a big storyline that we're working. So I'm sending you lots of love and infinite support. I'll talk to you next month.